Johann, it's been a while since we've sat down and chatted of October. How have things been for you, and how's your experience of Bath been?
I really enjoyed it. My family and I are having a great time. Obviously, big seasonal change if you look around Farley, the winter. So a lot of the green have gone. First snow around Christmas time, which was very nice while staying out here, and really enjoyed the club, enjoyed the game days, enjoyed the people and their love for the club, and the away support's been something that's been really good. A lot of people at the Glasgow game, some people in Toulon, so really had a good time, thank you.
It's been a busy period since we sat down. 11 games in the Premiership and in Europe. Let's touch on Glasgow for the time being. A 1919 draw, whilst positive in its own right, we did exit Challenge Cup. What are your thoughts and feelings after last weekend and the Challenge Cup as a whole?
Yeah, from a Challenge Cup as a whole, I had more expectation. You need to win your home games. We had opportunities to win our home games, and 22-19 at home, conceded a soft penalty with a few minutes to go and had an opportunity to level it up at home, an opportunity that we didn't use. And our first half against Toulon away, wasn't good enough. We were outpowered in the first half and fought our way back in the second half. I felt the way the team adapted to the game at Kingsholm was good, but we fell short with 2 minutes to go. That liner that we lost on our own line, and then really proud of the effort and the commitment and our execution away to Glasgow, a place that they haven't lost in at 15 months, and we had our best away performance yet. So from a Challenge Cup point of view, disappointed. Next season we've got to be better at home to put us in a position to go through, and then the away draw will be a good result to put you through to the next round. So we've made progress, but I wanted more.
Yeah, you mentioned home games being important there. It's the same in the Premiership as well. Played 7 since we last spoke, won 4. 3 of those at home, and in the 3 games that we lost, they were by less than a converted score. So does that provide enough positives in our progression?
Yeah, look, if you look at the season globally at this stage, there's been so much progression. I think from my side, it's the expectation now that we should win every game, and when we lose closely, we said we're going to be tough to beat. I'm disappointed, the group's disappointed every time that we lose. The one-score games points to 2 things. One, a very competitive league where last can beat first, and that weekend where Bristol, London Irish and Newcastle beat 1, 2 and 3. We came within 1 metre against Exeter away, so many positive, but the expectation from my side to the group is we've got to put those into victories, and the things that we need to work on: the start of games, the first 5 minutes of games, and then closing up the big moments in games. And I think that's an indication where we are as a group. We are certainly fitter. We've scored a massive amount of points in the last quarter of games. We are winning most of the second halves, but when the pressure comes, we're not good enough yet. And in our journey, and that's what it is, year 1, we've come a long way. The challenge for the back end of the Premiership now is when we get into those situations, we've got to turn them more into the Leicester result where we score with the last play of the game, not the Exeter one where we concede a penalty 1 yard from the try line to win a big team away from home.
Yeah, statistically you mentioned there tries conceded in the first 10 minutes, but then being the best attacking side in the last quarter. Defensively, we've improved so much from last season, what's gone before. Where have those improvements come? People may have seen a hangover at the start of the season, but now we've had time to adjust. What do you make of that side of our game?
Oh, look, that was one of the main focus points. If I take you back to the first time I spoke, it's about the conditioning of the group, being pragmatic in the way that we play in our first year. And then the main things were our defence and our kicking game, and I think that's come on massively. JP's done a massive a job there, but the most important is the players bought into that. Systematically you've got to put something in place, and then you've got to become good at it. I don't think we're good at it yet. We've certainly become a lot better, but certainly we're not leaking multiple tries in games. And no, this game that we play, every situation is different. We might in one game, but certainly they're tough to beat. Guys are fighting. If I take you back to the Newcastle game where Ted and Dave worked well to not concede that try, it's never over till it's over, and all credit to JP and the team.
Yeah, being pragmatic and having a solid defence has been a focus this season. Bringing in a player like Finn Russell will obviously give us a bit of elevation in our attack. How do you see our attack developing for the rest of this season, and then obviously when Finn and those guys come in next season? How do you see it going?
I think rugby, if I put it in a very simplistic form, it's 50% defence and 50% attack. You know, we've, because of where the team have been 6 months ago, focused on the defence first, because you know, it doesn't matter how many points you score, if you concede more, you're going to lose those games. So, you know, we focused on our defence and our kicking game. We've focused a lot on our contact skills. And then from a next season point of view, attack is the next step. You know, putting firstly structures in place, and then number two, putting the right players in place. And you know, we've signed some very good ball carriers. We've signed another 10 that will become part of the group. And you know, if you look at the difference that Ollie have made, that Ted have made, you know, Alfie haven't played yet. You know, there'll be more players to announce in the coming weeks and coming months. And then specifically Finn, in coming into the system, you know, he wants to add to what journey we are on as a group, and you know, he wants to be part of that journey, and you know, very exciting to make him part of that. And you know, we said at the start, you know, seeing this as a train journey, year one starting the 11th of July, finishing on the 28th of May, and then you know, what's next. And we are bringing in people that will hopefully make a big difference in year two.
I think supporters and staff and everyone in general was pretty excited by Finn coming to the club. When you met him, what did you like about him? What about his game really excites you, and what makes him a right fit for Bath Rugby?
Number one is just a normal guy. You know, like most things in life, there's a lot of perception around him. He's a normal guy that wants to get better, that saw something at Bath from a journey point of view that he'd like to be part of. And, you know, we spoke openly, and you know, he's coming in as part of the group, and I think that's the most exciting thing. You know, the 10s that we have within our group, the backs that we have, and you know, the back that we're building, it's part of a process. And you know, he's one of the very best 10s in the world in terms of his passing game, his broken field attack, his attacking kicking game. I think is so underrated in terms of what he can deliver. But like all 10s as well, what you do in your own half, exit properly, and the ability to adapt to situations, which is something that we've got to become better at. And you know, really happy that he's on board for next season.
Yeah, you've obviously fast-tracked a few signings, Ted, Ollie, Alfie, as you mentioned, but Dunny, Will Stewart, Sam Underhill, Cam Redpath, Ben Spencer, and others to come that have committed their future to Bath Rugby. How excited should people be about what's to come and what the next step in our journey is?
When I spoke to the group for the first time, I spoke about three things: connection, clarity and commitment. And I think the fact that, let's call it the Bath players of before are staying, the people that we want to stay are staying, is testament about that connection. You know, we needed to re-establish a lot of connections. You know, we needed clarity as to where we are going. The group now has got a clear direction as to how we want to play, how we're going to get there, because we're not close to the finished article. We're 6 months into this project, and you know, the exciting bit is you know, where can we be in a year's time, in 2 years' time, in 3 years' time, in 4 years' time. And then the important bit is the commitment bit. And with Danny staying, Will Stewart staying, Ben staying, you know, it's countless players that I can mention that are staying. It just shows that they believe that we're on the right track, because you know, I can sell any vision. Players have got to believe in that. And incredibly exciting for me, but I think people that love this club and want this club to do well should be incredibly excited for what's to come. And I've got a personal saying in my life: you have to believe that the best is yet to come. And for us as a group, we'd like to think that we are building towards something step by step. Now, I'm not here for the short term. I don't expect that we're going to become a champion team in 6 months, hence that word pragmatic, and then that saying tough to beat in year one, and then we'll regroup in the off-season, the pre-season, and then attack year two.
Yeah, step by step, as you say, the next step being sail away before a 2-week break, then back-to-back home games in the Six Nations period. A bit of a weird dynamic in terms of how the structure is at the moment, but what are the work-ons in the next block?
Number one, we've got to keep working on what we started, our body composition, our fitness, our defence, and our kicking game. I'd say holistically, some of our set piece haven't been good enough. I felt our scrum over the last few weeks have been really good. Some of our line-out execution are not up to standard. We've got to improve that in the next block. Most of the tries in the game of rugby currently are coming from line-out, so that's something that we'll need to be better at. And then our broken field attack, finishing opportunities. We've created the opportunities. It's about finishing them, and the way the Premiership is currently, fascinating to be part of it. You are one loss away from being last on the log, but you are 2 wins away from being fourth. And I think that's going to be the same for about 9 teams in the Premiership if I look at the log. So that bit that I spoke about earlier is the first 5 minutes, the last 5 minutes. We've got to make a big improvement in those 2 areas. And that's the challenge of this group. First season, we are being put in those situations. Clearly, we haven't been good enough in them for the most part of it. And then we've had some brilliant moments, the Leicester game. I felt we closed out the Newcastle game in some very tricky situations, and then the frustrating bit, the Exeter game away, the Toulon game at home, the Glasgow game at home, the Quins game 2 times over the try line, with Moores going up to the TMO, and we can't see the grounding, and that's sport, that's rugby, and really excited about the next block, and really excited about the Sale game. They've gone incredibly well at home. They are 2 years ahead of us in terms of their evolution as a squad. Currently one of the very best defensive teams in Europe. Nilling a team like Ulster there, giving Leicester 40 points there. We'll have to be at our very best to get a result in Manchester. And we as a group can't wait to travel up. And as I said when we've played them before, they are one of the most physical teams. We lost that battle at home. Challenge for us, can we front up against that away from home? And then end of the block, regroup, which I think is a good balance from a Premiership point of view. All of a sudden you've got those open weeks that you can give guys some time away, find balance, spend time with your family, and then come back in, refocus, plan, and then great to have those 2 games versus London Irish and Bristol, and then 2 away, Leicester and Northampton. Some very good hard games away, and then the extra 1 at home again to end off that block of 5, if I call it that. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, a lot to look forward to. Thank you for joining us, and go well on Friday night.
Thanks very much.